It was a different kind of Passover meal, that's for sure. I remember right when I sat down, Philip, he leans over to me and he whispers, "Hey, Thomas, I bet something special is going to happen tonight." I just looked at him and said, "I doubt it." I was wrong, because Jesus stood up and he went over and he grabbed a basin of water and a towel. I remember at the time thinking to myself, I doubt he's going to wash somebody's feet. I was wrong. See, he knelt down and he started to wash Bartholomew's feet. Bart just sat there. He didn't know what to do. None of us did. And then he finished and he went on to James and Andrew and the rest of us. And I thought at the time, this is really weird, but really incredible too. I doubt anybody's going to say anything right now. I was wrong. You know who broke the silence? Peter.
Whoa, hold on, Jesus, right there. There is no way you're going to wash my feet. Maybe these other guys, but not mine. I mean, you're the king. We keep trying to explain to you how this king thing works, and you still hadn't got it yet, but you're not going to wash my feet. Jesus looked at me and he said, "Peter, that's fine, but if I don't wash your feet, you can have nothing to do with me." Oh, okay, Jesus, slow down. You know what? Wash my head, my shoulders, my body, wash everything. He said, "No, Peter, your feet will be fine." In the midst of washing feet, he's teaching servanthood.
And then Jesus, he took some bread, some wine. He blessed it, and he served it to us. He called it a new covenant in his blood. And then he looked right at us and he said, "Tonight, all of you will lose faith in me." And I thought, lose faith in you, Jesus? Never. I didn't say anything. I just sat there.
I couldn't just sit there. I had to say something. I said, "Jesus, you got this all wrong. There's no way. Jesus, I love you. I love you so much, and you know this. And I would fight to the death for you, Jesus. There's no way you got it wrong." And he looked at me and he said, "Peter, before tomorrow morning, you will deny me 3 times. Not my finest moments. Next thing I knew, we were wrapping things up and headed to the garden to pray.
Jesus went with his disciples to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to them, "Sit here while I go over there and pray."
When we got to the garden, things just kind of got crazy. Peter and James and I were asked to go a little further with Jesus into the garden to pray, and we did. We tried. We kept falling asleep, and Jesus kept waking us up, and I remember one time he came back and he said, "The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." You got that right. It's all just such a blur. And to think this whole mess got started because of Judas. I mean, did he really think what he was doing was right?
There he is. That's the one you want. The one off by himself praying. Now the other guys, they'll come down and they'll try to stir up some kind of trouble. But he's the one you want. The one I kiss on the cheek. Now, 30 pieces of silver, right? That's what we agreed to, 30 pieces. Forget about the rest. The one I kiss on the cheek, he's the one you want.
A kiss? A kiss? Really? Really, Judas? Are you kidding me? Judas betrays Jesus with the kiss of a friend? After that, everything went nuts. The guards moved in, and Peter draws his sword, and he cuts this guy's ear off, and Jesus reaches down, picks it up, and just puts it right back on the side of this guy's head like nothing even happened. And then they took him. They took Jesus, and I'd love to sit here and tell you that we fought for him, but we didn't. Everybody ran. I ran. And I'm so ashamed.
What have I done? What have I done? Was I so stupid to think that I've killed him? I've killed him. I crucified Jesus.
A certain man from Cyrene, Simon, the father of Alexander and Rufus, was passing by on his way in from the country, and they forced him to carry the cross. They brought Jesus to the place called Golgotha, which means the place of the skull.
I crucified Jesus. It's what the crowd wanted, so that's what they got. Now, personally, I don't think he did anything to deserve that, but I was just a soldier doing my job. When the governor handed down a sentence, that's when I went to work. Man, I loved that job. I felt like I was administering justice every time I nailed someone to a tree. But that guy didn't deserve that.
Didn't make any sense. There I was rotting in a jail cell, stealing, murder. Yeah, you name it, I was good for it. And I knew the next time those cell doors opened, well, that was it. The guards, they came and got me, and they stood me up here next to this guy who'd been beaten to a pulp. And then Governor Pilate asked the crowd, he says, "Who do you want me to free?" Thanks a lot, Governor, because that's not obvious. The crowd's going to yell out, "Let Jesus go!" And I was going to tell them exactly where they could go. But then the crowd says my name. They start chanting Barabbas. They're saying my name. I mean, 1 minute, I'm a man marked for death, it's done, it's over, and then they throw me into the crowd like a free man. Made no sense. I followed the guy. I followed the guy all the way to Golgotha.
I was stationed at Golgotha that day. I remember we had just raised the second cross when they let him into us. I'll never forget it. He'd been whipped, spit on, and beaten to the point where he was unrecognizable as a man. He was hideous. What few clothes he had left, they tore off of him and threw him down on the cross. That's when I went to work. Now, normally when you crucify a man, the first hand is the hardest. The criminal wants to get away, so he fights. So we would have 2 soldiers hold him down. But this guy, he didn't fight. He just lay there. At the time, I thought he was just too exhausted to move. As an executioner, I've been called every name in the book. I've been spit on, cursed at. Men have begged and pleaded with me for their lives. But I wasn't prepared for what he did. Jesus looked at us. He looked at me. And he said, "Father, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing." Jesus forgave me.
Forgive. Forgive. He said, forgive. Forgive? Who is this guy? No. Now see, that was supposed to be my cross. That was my cross. It was marked for me. I was on it. And the next thing you know, this guy just takes my place. I looked up at him, and I'll never forget, he took this long, agonizing breath, and he said, "It's finished." And then he died.
Surely this man was the Son of God.